Coming up on 5 Minute News. Biden plays catch-up with home tests to confront Omicron surge. Israel to offer fourth dose of COVID vaccine to over 60s. And Putin warns of military response to NATO's request for retreat. It's Wednesday, December 22. I'm Anthony Davis. In a bid to fight the Omicron variant surging through the country, President Joe Biden announced the government will provide 500 million free rapid home testing kits, increase support for hospitals under strain, and redouble vaccination and boosting efforts. At the White House on Tuesday, Biden detailed major changes to his COVID-19 winter plan, his hand forced by the fast-spreading variant whose properties are not yet fully understood by scientists. Yet his message was clear that the winter holidays could be close to normal for the vaccinated, while potentially dangerous for the unvaccinated. His pleas are not political, he emphasized. He noted that former President Donald Trump has received his booster shot and said it's Americans' patriotic duty to get vaccinated. Biden chastised social media and right-wing cable TV news who have made misleading statements to discourage people from getting vaccinated. The outbreak from this latest strain of the coronavirus has required the federal government to get more aggressive in addressing the wave of infections, but Biden promised a weary nation that there would not be a mass lockdown of schools or businesses. A cornerstone of the plan is for the government to purchase 500 million coronavirus rapid tests for free shipment to Americans starting in January. It marks a major shift for Biden, who earlier had called for many Americans to purchase the hard-to-find tests on their own and then try to seek reimbursement from health insurance, which for many proved impossible. Testing advocates point to nations, including the UK and Germany, which have been distributing billions of free tests to the public for over a year and recommend people test themselves twice a week. Israel announced on Tuesday that it will offer a fourth dose of the COVID-19 vaccine to people older than 60, amid concern about the spread of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. A health ministry expert panel recommended the fourth shot, a decision that was swiftly welcomed by Prime Minister Naftali Bennett as great news that will help us overcome the Omicron wave that is spreading around the world. Although the decision is pending formal approval by senior health officials, Bennett urged Israelis to get the dose as soon as possible, saying, "My message is, don't waste time, go get vaccinated." The decision follows the first known death in Israel of a patient with the Omicron variant. On Tuesday, the health ministry said there were at least 340 known cases of Omicron in Israel. The country has already this week expanded a travel ban to countries including the United States, Germany, Italy, Turkey and Canada to try to curb the spread of the virus, which is increasingly becoming the dominant strain. President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday that Russia had no room to retreat in a standoff with the United States over Ukraine and would be forced into a tough response unless the West dropped its aggressive line. Putin addressed his remarks to military officials as Russia pressed an urgent US and NATO reply to proposals it made last week for a binding set of security guarantees from the West. What the US is doing in Ukraine is at our doorstep, and they should understand that we have nowhere further to retreat to. Do they think we'll just watch idly? Putin said. If the aggressive line of our Western colleagues continues, we will take adequate military technical response measures and react harshly to unfriendly steps, he said. Putin did not spell out the nature of these measures, but his phrasing mirrored that used previously by Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, who has warned that Russia may redeploy intermediate-range nuclear missiles in Europe in response to what it regards as NATO plans to do the same. Russia rejects Ukrainian and US accusations that it may be preparing an invasion of Ukraine as early as next month by tens of thousands of Russian troops poised within reach of the border. It says it needs pledges from the West, including a promise not to conduct NATO military activity in Eastern Europe, because its security is threatened by Ukraine's growing ties with the Western alliance and the possibility of NATO missiles being deployed against it on Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that he was ready to meet Russia for direct talks, tête-à-tête. We don't mind in what format. But Moscow has said repeatedly it sees no point in such a meeting without clarity on what the agenda would be. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Tuesday ruled out an in-person meeting between Biden and Putin for now. I think we will have to see if, in the first instance, there's any progress diplomatically, Blinken said in a news briefing. In the meantime, the United States would continue to send military equipment and supplies to Ukraine in the weeks and months ahead, something that has antagonized Moscow. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.